Star Citizen is the most expensive game to ever be created, and more people than ever are joining in to see what this is all about. There are currently 13 starter packages in the game, ranging from the tiny single-seat Mustang Alpha to the rather large Constellation Andromeda. This can be intimidating to choose from for brand new players, so I'm going to go through every starter pack in Star Citizen to find the best value out there, so let's get started. If you are a new player to the game, you can head to RSI and sign up using my referral code to get extra in-game currency and, depending on when you're watching this, maybe even a free vehicle as well. We will rate these on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being absolutely awful and 10 being amazing. Some things we will consider is the ship's ability to enable different gameplay loops, flight performance, style, and the value against its price. We will go through these from cheapest to most expensive, leading us to our first ship, the Aurora MR. The Aurora is a ship manufactured by Aerospace Industries and will run you $45. There are many manufacturers in Star Citizen, and each has their own style, from ship appearance down to the displays you can find in the pilot seat. This ship is categorized as a light fighter, but it only sports 2 size 1 weapons and 2 size 1 missiles. It does have a small cargo grid capable of supporting 3 SCU boxes. It comes with all size 1 components and 2 shield generators. Surprisingly enough, this ship does come with a bed. Beds on ships are important in Star Citizen, as these are points where you can log in and out when not at a station or a city. The quantum fuel tank is rather small and limits the range you can really explore the vast systems you will find in the game. The design of this ship is rather plain and does not give an exciting feel when you're flying or even looking at it. It is extremely entry level and limited in its ability to do many things besides go from point A to point B. This is by far not the best ship in the game or even on this list, so it sits at around a 2 out of 10. Next is the Mustang Alpha, manufactured by Consolidated Outlands, and it will run you $45. Despite its aggressive appearance, this is actually labeled as a light freight ship carrying a whopping 4 SCU boxes. The Mustang comes with 2 weapon slots in the size 2 range, but no missiles. It has all size 1 components with 2 coolers and 2 shield generators instead of just 1. The fuel reserves are akin to that of the Aurora, so there is not much change there. The ship, admittedly, looks cooler than the Aurora with its militaristic design. However, it does not have a bed, so you will need to end all of your play sessions at a hub of some sort without the convenience that affords you. It does have more offensive ability, and if you like fighting, this may be the one for you between the two. It does have a bit more ability to do missions, slotting this at a 3 out of 10. Moving on, we have the C8X Picses Expedition, manufactured by Anvil Aerospace, and here we will see our first price increase up to $60. A bit more airplane-like in appearance, this is the largest ship so far, although that's not saying much. It too has the ability to carry 4 SCU boxes and is large enough to have a ramp out of the back. Despite its appearance, it is armed with 4 size 1 weapons and 2 size 1 missiles. Its components all come in size 1, and there's only 1 of each. Even for its size, it lacks a bed to log out, but it has 2 additional seats if you'd like to bring some friends along. The fuel tanks are slightly larger than the previous 2 ships, but just barely. This ship is often bundled with other much larger ships like the Carrack to assist with exploration and scouting. For the price increase, the ship is rather lackluster and lands at a 3 out of 10, only because of the increased lethality. I would rate this higher if it had a bed, which this variant arguably should. Next up is a crowd favorite. Hailing in from Drake Interplanetary is the Cutter, priced at $60 US. This ship somewhat resembles the ship from The Mandalorian. Bigger than the Picses, it makes use of this space well by having a bed and the ability to carry 4 boxes in the back. It is much taller than the Picses, allowing smaller vehicles to be brought along with you. The armament is decent with 2 size 2 weapons and 4 size 1 missiles. The components are all size 1 though, with a single component in each slot. The ship flies well and just has an overall cool look to it. The fuel reserves are very large for its size, at almost triple that of any other ship so far. Capable of similar gameplay as previous ships, but also sporting a bed, I think this lands at a 5 out of 10. The value against the price really elevates this, especially with the increased ability to explore and travel. We see our first ship from Origin Jumpworks up next, which is a premier luxury manufacturer of the game. This is the 100i and will run you $65, as we hit that typical video game price you usually see nowadays. Very sleek and stylish, many players love this manufacturer for the quality of its ships. Smaller than the Cutter, it has about half the fuel capacity and half the cargo ability. It still maintains a bed for freedom of access though. The weaponry is nice with 2 size 3 weapons and 1 size 2 missile. It kind of resembles that of a light fighter or a snub fighter, honestly. It allows the same gameplay loops as the previous ships, but maybe a bit better at ship-to-ship combat if you're skilled enough. The components are all size 1 and comes with 2 coolers. You will find the most paints for this ship out of all the other ships on this list in the store if you're into that type of thing. All in all, I think this sits at a 5 just because of how good it looks and many people enjoy the style that this provides. Our next ship is probably one of the hardest hitters on this list. Referred to by many as the Penguin given its design and color scheme, hailing in from Aegis Dynamics, we have the Avenger Titan. Here we see a hefty increase up to $75 US. Much like the Mustang and Aurora series of ships, this has several different variants on the Avenger frame. Appearing much like a fighter, it comes equipped with the firepower to do just that. Armed with 2 size 3 weapons on the wings and an impressive size 4 weapon mounted on the front. Coupled with the size 2 missiles, this is quite the fighter. The back even allows the most cargo up to this point, sitting at 8 total SU with access via the rear ramp. If that wasn't enough, this also has a small habitation area with a bed. It is by no means perfect with a smaller fuel tank limiting its range. However, it makes up for this with 2 coolers, 2 shield generators to go along with the 1 power plant, all in the size 1 category. It is pretty easy to see why this is so highly recommended to new players by any veteran of the game and lands at a respectable 8 out of 10. The value this provides is great, and it's even the ship that I started out with. Crusader Industries made its first appearance into the starter ship category this year with the Intrepid coming in at $80. Crusader ships are known for their very large yet stylish appearances, and the Intrepid is no different. It is rather large for its price as a starter ship. The interior is very luxurious and it's spacious. Built more for individual comfort than anything, it even has a stairwell that leads onto the ship. It has 8 SU capacity accessed via 2 lifts, which is pretty cool. The weaponry is weird as it has a single size 4 weapon and 2 size 1 missiles. Now, I know you think this kind of looks like an A10 Warthog, but this looks like an A10 Warthog and is way too expensive for this list. Anyway, the fuel tanks match its assortment of single size 1 components by being rather small. I think this sits at a 4 at best. It is a nifty, cool design and the interior is quite large, but it's definitely more form than function for the price. With another increase to $85, we have our alien ship on the list, the Syulen, and it is produced by Gatac. Very unique and foreign in its design, this is a pretty cool ship though. Not very popular as you will not find many people flying one. The alien spaceship design is out of a sci-fi movie and it's done really well. It has all single size 1 components except for the 2 shield generators. The big advantage it does have is the hefty fuel tanks. The weaponry is impressive with 3 size 3 weapons and a staggering 12 size 2 missiles. The layout of this ship is vertical and it even has an elevator to get around. It allows for 6 SU of cargo to be placed on the spindles on the exterior and it lands in this cool tripod position. For $85 though, this sits around a 5 because an increase of $10 did not provide us much more than the Avenger did. If anything, you're getting a worse ship for a higher price. If you're into alien ships and the way this looks, it is pretty cool, just not for the price. Climbing slightly higher to $90, we have our first dedicated fighter on this list. Swooping in from Anvil Aerospace, we have the Arrow. Shaped very much like a fighter jet and, well, an arrow, many enthusiasts love this ship for its flight performance. It handles amazing in both space and atmosphere flight. Given its design, it does not have any cargo space. It makes up for this with 2 size 3 weapons with an additional pair of size 1 weapons. Combined with 6 size 2 missiles, this is a scrappy little fighter. The fuel tanks are rather small and the components are all single size 1 in every slot except for the redundant coolers. Truthfully, this is a fun ship to fly, but the price against the fact it really only does one thing, which is fight, does not make this worth it. I have to slot this at a 3. As we go on, it becomes very hard to beat the Avenger Titan in that value. Although, the next ship in our lineup may do just that. Coming in from Consolidated Outlands is the Nomad, and it will run you $95. This ship is extremely impressive. Referred to as the pickup truck of the verse because of its design, it performs in most every category. Coming in with the most cargo we have seen with a staggering 24 SU of space and enables a very key feature, vehicle transportation. Up to this point, most ships have enabled the same bit of gameplay with some even falling a bit short. The Nomad enables the use of the Rock, a mining vehicle that has crazy earning potential for a new player. You can learn more about that in one of my other videos linked in the description. The cargo grid even has a built-in tractor beam for loading and unloading your cargo. If that wasn't enough, it has 3 size 3 weapons and 8 size 2 missiles. And if that wasn't impressive enough, it has 3 shield generators, 2 coolers, and 1 power plant. The only real downside here is it has somewhat smaller fuel tanks than you might expect. The interior of this ship is spacious and failed to give a very homey vibe to it, and the hover style landing gear is just cool and unique. I slot this at a very confident 10 out of 10. If you are really interested in the game and can afford the Nomad, it is hands down a great value for the price, and it will carry you through many of your first steps in the verse and beyond as a solo player. I've interrupted this video at a completely random time to ask you to drop a like, and if you found this video somewhat helpful, subscribe. Maybe the next video I make is exactly what you're looking for. Anyway, back to the video. Next up is a combat powerhouse of the verse, and certainly on this list, the Cutlass Black. And we have a significant price hike up to $125 US. This is the largest ship thus far and our first multi-crew ship on the list, although many like to fly this solo. It has almost double the cargo of the Nomad, coming in at 46 SU, and it still has a tractor beam to assist as well. The rear ramp is a bit narrow, but you can still squeeze a rock in here. The inside is spacious, but not as cozy as the Nomad, as it's built more for military uses rather than living abroad. The weaponry is solid with 4 size 3 pilot weapons, a dual size 3 turret for another player, and a set of missile racks with 8 size 2 missiles and another 8 size 3 missiles. We will get to see a size-up in components with all size 2, even if there is just 1 in each slot except for the coolers. A respectable fuel tank comes with its size to get you around the verse for all your various shenanigans. Easily one of the most recognizable ships in the verse, as you will see it in most every commercial for the game and many missions that you will undertake. I slot this at a respectable 8, as it is a very good and beloved ship, but can be a bit pricey for a new player still learning the game. MISC produces our next ship, and it is the Freelancer, also at $125. Probably one of the least popular ships on this list, as it is very clunky. I will say that most veteran players either love this ship or hate this ship. This ship is one of the very first that initially launched with the game, and you can tell. The interior is big, but empty, and feels like you're flying a giant tube with wings. It is a multi-crew ship with a gunner on the back with dual size 2 weapons, while the pilot controls 4 size 3 weapons. If you really want, you can bring friends to control those as well. Accompanied by 4 size 3 missiles and 4 size 2 missiles, she is well armed for her size. The Freelancer has the most components with all size 2 and 2 in each slot, except for shields where it actually has 3. It will certainly need them given its size. The rear ramp is very large, and the cargo bay allows for up to 66 SCU of capacity. Not too bad for a starter. I land the Freelancer at an 8 as well. It is similarly armed to the Cutlass, and if you're more into industry like cargo or mining, rather than the fighting, the Freelancer will appeal to you more than the Cutlass will at the same price point. Full disclaimer, technically this does come with digital extras, but they don't add any value to your in-game experience. Lastly, we return to the flagship manufacturer of RSI with the mighty Constellation Andromeda, and this big fella will run you a whopping $275. It sounds like a lot for a new player, but there are a lot of ships in this game that cost well over $1,000. And don't worry, you'll get sucked in this abyss just like the rest of us. Anyway, first off, it is more than just a ship. You get a cute little ground vehicle to drive around and use in game called the STV, or as I call it, the Barbie car. You also get several in-game items for your hangar to decorate and place wherever you'd like. Past that, let's talk about the ship itself. It goes without saying that it has the largest fuel tanks we have seen yet. It is equipped with 2 size 2 coolers, 2 size 2 power plants, and a single size 3 shield generator. As a dedicated combat vessel, it has a very impressive arsenal of 4 size 5 weapons controlled by the pilot, and 24 size 2 missiles, and an additional 28 size 1 missiles. Oh, and we aren't done. It has 2 separate turrets for your friends, each with its own pair of size 3 weapons, and it has a snub fighter out the back for your last friend to fly around and help in the fighting. Truly, this is a beast to go up against. The cargo grid is very large, up to 96 SCU, and it even completely lowers down like a giant elevator for ease of access. It has a cool little crew quarters and a sci-fi style elevator to the ground. It may surprise you to hear this, but I actually slot this at a 5 out of 10, and you may wonder why. It is because this is a very large ship, and it's great once you've gotten your wits about you in the game. However, as a new player still learning how to do everything, especially fly, it is very daunting and frustrating to try to figure out how to operate this thing while trying to do basic missions. It is an amazing step up once you have a good feeling for the game, but it is not very beginner friendly. If I had to truly recommend a ship to a new player, it would be the Avenger Titan, or, if you can afford it, the Nomad to really take advantage of everything the game has to offer starting out. The cool thing about this game is you're not stuck with your initial ship. The RSI website allows you to upgrade your ship whenever you want, and all you have to do is pay the difference between the two. So if you try the Nomad and then you really want that Andromeda, go for it. Another important note here is you can earn each and every one of these ships in-game without spending any more money past the initial starter ship that you buy. However, you will hear the tempting call of the mighty RSI Aurora, and you'll be making YouTube videos luring unsuspecting, impressionable young gamers to their monetary doom. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching, best of luck with your adventures out in the verse, and I'll see you all in the next one.